are watching these games here as we do get to load onto the Rift now. Very, very quick intro on those beautiful graphics. Unfortunately, no duckies yet in the series, so we got to go to a Game 5 to see a ducky.
Game 5 enable all the April Fool's jokes because this series has been... It feels like a cruel April Fool's joke at times with the bot lane picks, at least. Absolutely, as you said. Again, we had R1 Misfortune Game 3 into B1 Misfortune Game 4. It has been absolutely all over the place. But Red looking to move on to play Furia. Liberty looking to stay alive, force a Game 5. It is Game 4 of the Round 2 of the CBLOL Split 1 playoffs. And everyone just hanging out, having a good time as they prep to kick off the jungle camps here for both teams.
This is, I believe, could be the first game that we have different jungle pathings, as it has always been the blue side jungler starting on their blue buff and the red side jungler always starting on their blue buff, and then it turns into some sort of version of vertical jungling. Now, assuming okay, never mind. It's still going to be the same. I usually when junglers like to do that early ward trick there, like Desamas was almost going to do, then they end up recalling and go start on their bot side camp, but nope. Desamas, he's still opting to start on the top side, so once again, no 315 scuttle fights. Doesn't mean that we won't have any early fighting, though.
Infernal Dragon is our first dragon. I'm curious if it gets any priority. I think we've seen 2 Cloud Drakes and a Hextech as our first dragon, so maybe we get a more prioritization, though that does mean no Infernal Soul, which I think does ruin some of the excitement around that Dragon Soul. I know an Infernal, one of the more popular ones and one of the more exciting ones to fight over. But yeah, Rift Herald's kind of been like this hit or miss one. I know in the regular season it was kind of the joke, but it really was. 8 minutes, 10 man, let's go on Rift Herald here. Haven't seen it too much, especially not that last game. It was Rift Herald just handed over for free as Titan and JoJo hit level 2 first, but without Leona, there's nowhere near as much damage or as much engaged potential outside of a pulverized headbutt combo. And more fans in Red's favor this time. There's that pulverized headbutt combo onto the snare. No 4-shot yet for Titan. Can he get in range? No, the Make It Rain will cancel out. He'll have to 4-shot onto that Nautilus instead.
Yes, we have fallen from 97% in favor to Red. After a win, by the way, now falls to 93% in the favor of Red. I don't know how that logic works. It's like, hey, they're 2-1. Let's start voting for the other team to win the series now. Instead, Guigo, very large wave stacked here on the top side. Fortunately, Aegis is not quite in range to go for any super early dives on the Kiari. That could have shut him out from this early landing phase very heavily if they were able to play for that super early dive. Desamas, though, with this slightly stacked wave onto Grifter, could look for something.
Samus hanging around. Probably was hoping Crastiel would land a charm, but Greftar using those minions perfectly to block all of that, so Desamas will grab the Rift Scuttle. You see the pings coming out. Aegis wants to go on that top side of the map, maybe attempt to dive onto Kiari before that Aatrox gets going. And that's exactly what's going to happen. There is a ward in that bush, though, right below the top tower. And so I think that might dissuade Aegis just a little bit, so he'll pick up his own Scuttle. And now Desamas going for a very long play all the way around on the wraparound towards this bot side. Crastiel's going to rotate down as well. They have River Scuttle control, but Titan and JoJo quickly realize something is up, and they just walk away back to their wave.
Nope,
Here comes Aegis.
They're coming back. They are still level 2 here for the bot lane of Red, but Aegis
eats the stun and the charm. No flash, no ward. First blood for Desamas. I think he wanted to hand that over to Crastiel, but he didn't have enough mana, was waiting on the auto attack. They just baited Aegis into that one. Fantastic warding by Desamas and company.
Yes, unfortunately, Aegis was not on the same page as Titan and JoJo. They 100% read the play so perfectly. They backed off for the correct amount of time. They came back. They only missed a couple of minions worth of XP. And meanwhile, Aegis, he wanted to help his bot lane. He did it in good faith. Unfortunately, he probably only thought that Desamas was hovering around in his jungle. So Crastiel hitting him with the charm out of Fog of War does just mostly mean he is dead, even with trying to flash away. Yes, unfortunately, Crastiel not being able to pick up the kill. Still, not the worst thing in the world for Desamas to have it. It's absolutely better for Desamas to have it than Aegis making it out alive. First dragon will be up on the map in a couple of seconds, but not... Ooh, Guigo.
Guigo tried to hop away there. Flashes out of range. Kiari also went for the flash, but Guigo barely holding on. Those infernal chains pulling Nard back on the hop. Nearly cost Guigo first blood, but he's going to reset. Won't really lose anything, and Infernal Dragon has not even piqued the interest of anyone. There's not even a ward on Dragon. They don't even know it exists at this point. They're just like, okay, whatever.
Oh, there's dragons in this game? Fish. I didn't know that those existed. Nah,
it's all the
I've never
purple
heard
creatures we care about. We don't care about the multicolored lizards. We only want the purple worms and crabs.
Oh no, Titan and Jojo recalling together on a ward. Just as any good bot lane should do. Aegis hovering across DL here, stealing away these chickens. I'm not entirely sure if Crastiel knows that Aegis is here, so he could potentially be in danger, but with Grefthar recalling and Aegis not quite having level 6 for a kick available, does mean he is mostly just here to vibe on in the bot side jungle. Meanwhile, Desamus, he's just gonna be missing his chickens. Nothing too huge for him quite yet.
They do get some good vision on Desamus as well. Saw the pings going out there. Guigo's going to hop onto Kiara. Guigo did level up first. Has already used the Gnar, though, however. And that means Kiara's going to walk away. Guigo has not had the greatest success with Gnars today. I'm not going to lie. There's been a lot of empty air thrown around by this Gnar. But we'll see if Crastiel can come around and maybe stop a tower dive. I don't think Aegis saw this Ahri, but Crastiel's taking the long way around, ends up deciding not to opt for it as Kiara has enough lifesteal to stay nice and healthy.
Crastiel with that very defensive roam on the top side. I don't think there was any world that Crastiel was trying to find a gank on Guigo. He was mostly just there to make sure that Aegis and Grefthar weren't also there, but a little bit late to that defensive play as Grefthar is now actually going to be hovering around Was, not having level 6, neither does Desamus. It is still only the solo laners with their ultimates available, and with that Grefthar, basically the exact same play as Crastiel. He walks in the jungle, makes sure nobody is there to make sure that Guigo is safe to continue pushing, pops that Mega Gnar, and with the being down for the next couple of seconds, is vulnerable to some sort of gank, especially with no vision in the top side jungle for him.
Everyone will walk away, though, from that top side. As you pointed out, Rift Herald up in 35 seconds. We'll see if either team has any interest in looking that direction as the Infernal Dragon has been left alone. Fear does land onto Crastiel, but Grefthar going to land just a little bit of poke. Mana hurting a bit for these mid laners with no teleport available. They do have to be careful in case a fight breaks out, but so far there's been no interest across the board. It has just been a CS fiesta here in Game 4, Capcom, and really right now, neither team's ahead. The gold is dead even, just minor in the Liberty's favor by less than about 100, though they are starting to pull ahead here just a little bit.
Crastiel trying to clear that ward. I'm a little bit worried for him here. First Rift Herald will be started up, of course, before the dragon. We haven't even laid eyes on the dragon yet. It has been completely unwarded for the past 3.5 minutes, so no one knows if anyone has currently taken it. But of course, instead, we've got a 5v5 for the first Rift Herald.
Here comes everybody up to that mid lane. Wasp gonna get found out there. Kiara gonna jump onto Guigo. The engage gonna happen right onto Crastiel. Gets feared by the Shadow Surge, but able to Spirit Rush away. Spirit back in. Heal keeps Grefthar alive. It's a 1-for-1 trade with the bullet time. Ripping apart Jojo. He will go down now. Grefthar caught on the wrong side of the map. A 3-kill here so far for Liberty. Now, Rift Herald is going to go down, and it looks like it went over to the side of Liberty. And they go 4 for 1, excuse me, on that Rift Herald. That is a huge win for Liberty.
Absolutely huge win for Liberty, like you were saying. Crastiel, we got a replay, all right. So Crastiel, you see, it does look like he was caught out, but he was simply here to buy time, and more importantly, keep 3 members of Red in this choke point for Matsukaze to just get the completely fully charged bullet time onto all 3 of those members. So as much as it did look like Matsukaze was about to die, even if he did die, the 3 members that he was trying to keep in that choke would keep him there.
Great pulverized headbutt. Crastiel forced to flash, doesn't have the Spirit Rush. And unfortunately, they get nothing for that play for the side of Red.
They did get Crastiel's flash. That's not nothing. But yes, Spirit Rush up in a couple of seconds here does mean it's mostly negated. I would agree here. Meanwhile, here on the bot side, Desamus with the gank onto Titan, but Titan, he's played very safe. He should be perfectly fine.
With all those kills, this should be a uncontested Infernal if they choose so for Liberty, but right now Desamus has more interest in the Rift Scuttle than an Infernal Dragon. So, put a pause on that. Again, I would assume, like, you have all the priority in the world. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's a flashback moment to DeSamus on the Viego game where he like left his entire team to die in a team fight while he went to take a scuttle. That was kind of what happened in his mind right there. They can nerf scuttles all they want. It is still always going to be jungler's #1 priority over absolutely anything else in this game. As 10 minutes into this game, we have slowly come back a little bit. Last game we had an 11.5 minute first dragon, so 10.5. Slightly quicker, not nearly as quick as the 5.5 that we had in game 1 though.
It's been a slow, since game 1, everything is really slowed down. I feel like you can feel the playoff impact looming a bit more than just a regular season split game. Of course, now Liberty facing elimination. They couldn't have picked a better start, honestly, Capcom. 11 minutes in, you've got a 1,500 gold lead. You've got first Rift Herald. You've got first Dragon. I mean, great way to start this one out. You have your 2-0-2 Misfortune. Hey, the B1, I guess, paid off. What do we know? Misfortune was clearly the answer for Liberty.
Yeah, what do we know? Obviously, the B1 Misfortune is truly what is winning it all for them. And honestly, doesn't even have to be B1, right? It's just the Misfortune in general wins it for either one of these teams here. Lots of prio being put onto this bot side outer turret by both teams. There has been a whole lot of attempted dives, a lot of attempted invades by both of these teams. It's just none of them really actually turning into any fights. The only real fight was for that Rift Herald.
Gigo and Chiari battling it out here. Speaking of Rift Herald, it will be dropped on that bottom lane here. Hopefully someone hits that turret one more time. They will. Now they want to engage. Bull time going to be channeled. DeSamus just jumping on Titan. One more shot. Ends up being taken down by DeSamus. Crastiel's there. Charm going to be able to land. JoJo barely hanging on as DeSamus just tanked the tower for so long. Stopwatch will be first out here from Waz as Aegis will go down. Griftar all alone trying to stay alive. Can they juggle tower?
So
aggro! The Devour on the Ari passive keeps Crastiel alive. And Liberty able to go 3 for 1 and pick up first turret here.
1 for 3 in a tower dive, almost outplay. The tower aggro was just juggled absolutely flawlessly there by the 4 members of Liberty. That was a 4v4 underneath the tower. In any world, that should go in the favor of red, but no, it was just Liberty purely outplaying them on the micro side of things. Meanwhile, up on the top side, it was just Chiari and Guigo vibing. Chiari not having TP and Guigo not wanting to use his TP does just mean it was on everyone else to try and win this fight. Guigo does have a very slight lead in terms of both CS and gold above Chiari with those extra plates. So this top side is going slightly in the favor of Nar despite the 2-kill lead that Chiari does have.
Guigo has been playing well. Unfortunately, the rest of his team has been struggling. The Misfortune now 4-0-3. And I will say the one difference that it feels like from the last game from the Misfortune, even though it won, 100% win rate in CBLOL, by the way, is that there's no one to stop the bullet time, right? Last game, Tom Kench just devoured whoever's getting bullet time. Now Matsukaze is just throwing out free damage, and it is ripping red apart. And it's only getting scarier because he's now already got his Eclipse on board. There's not even a mythic finish yet for Titan in that bot side of the map.
Next outer turret under fire here by Liberty. They were able to take all 5 plates on the bottom one with the help of that Rift Herald. Now no help from the Rift Herald. They are looking to start taking the plates off of this outer tower. Of course, they do fall in just a couple of seconds though. So plates being traded on the bot outer turret there by Titan. Jin, not necessarily known for his tower taking though, as I did say he is all in the burst. That's a flash burn by Greftar.
Guigo has to also gnar them away. Looks like Matsukaze and company will pick up the top turret as well. This Misfortune just getting incredibly fed. Did pick up another plate there, so I think that might be 6 plates on that Misfortune. Not all of them solo, but that is a ton of gold. Also 4-0-3. So Matsukaze sitting on a bankroll. We'll see how long he wants to hang around. He's got his team kind of waiting around, almost trying to bait Guigo and company to chase down what they look like to be a lone Misfortune. Quickly we'll realize...
Oh no, Guigo, don't jump it.
He had a ward.
Oh, he jumped it.
Wait, why did he had a ward? The bullet time is nearly going to kill Guigo. He actually goes down to the depth charge. JoJo will die as well. Infernal Chains not quite able to pull Titan back there, top of your screen. I don't think that ward was disabled. I believe Guigo saw them on the ward and then hopped over anyway.
Man, Guigo, That was very similar to JoJo engages on Leona earlier in the series. It's the same thought process of I'm gonna go in, get a huge stun off, and then my team will follow up. It's just somewhere in that line of thinking something goes wrong. And then it just turns into a huge bloodbath. Of course, only 2 kills is just about the best case scenario there for Guigo jumping over that wall. So once again, it is now a 6,000 gold lead in the favor of Liberty at 15 minutes in this game. That is absolutely huge. So dominant of a performance in this early game as well. They will lose the second dragon, but picking up both the Rift Heralds and the first dragon is just almost a perfect early game for them, only dropping 2 kills as well. 1,800 damage, I believe, is that graph for Matsukaze.
Who knew that if you stood in Misfortune bullet times, the
Yes.
damage Misfortune could do would be absolutely wild. They do at least get a bottom turret there for the side of Red, and I believe with an objective bounty as well. They did just come online. I didn't see if Guigo took it too early. It is going to be an Ocean Soul, by the way, for the rest of our game. As for the 4th time in this series, they'll trade early dragons 1 for 1. And we'll see who ends up picking up that first Ocean Dragon here in 4 minutes. But this early game, Camcom could not have gone better for Liberty. You've got a 5-0-4 Misfortune with 141 CS. Chiari, despite early struggles, is dominating the top lane, at least in terms of kills, and is basically even with Guigo. And you got both Rift Heralds. You're looking at potentially 4 turrets down before 17 minutes.
This is probably one of the most dominant early games we have potentially ever seen from Liberty. I hesitate to say that as I haven't watched every single one of their games in the split, but I'm going to go on a limb and absolutely say it as they're about to take a 17-minute inhibitor on the bot side. So it's really quite hard to beat this. They want to let it live. Red, they want their inhibitor to die. That's what Red is doing. But the issue with this is the Rift Herald could still get a hit onto one of your Nexus towers.
Or you could just die at your tier 1 mid. The bullet time goes through. The inhibitor will fall. I'm not.
Eventually.
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan. I get we get more gold, but, I feel like Super Minion's pushing into your big. Just kill it. Just kill it, man. Just let it live. Just let it die in happiness. But the problem is, look at everything else you're losing. This is 6 turrets at 17 minutes. Make it 7 turrets before the 20-minute mark for Liberty. They have just dunked on Red in game number 4.
Hey man, it's the B1 Misfortune. Honestly, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Matsukaze is getting MVP for this game. I don't think that there is a world that anyone else gets MVP other than Matsukaze. Maybe Crastiel. Maybe he's had some really good flank spirit rushes, but man, Matsukaze with these bullet times from the backline that just nobody has been able to even think about stopping.
Gets caught backing. He should eventually go down and... Oh, no! Why? That was the worst thing that could have happened for Red. JoJo picks up the kill! No! They got the first blood of the series. The Shadow Surge from Greptar also goes wide right of Waz and company. Even when Red does something well, it goes wrong.
Man, that's just the theme of this game right here, man. It's like Titan. He's had so far 100% win rate on these not so meta, not so highly picked 80 carries so far. This might just break that win streak right here as 6,000 gold lead once again, still in the favor of Liberty. It's even on Dragons, so if you want to make some sort of argument for Red being able to take this game back, then Dragons would absolutely be the way to do it. It's just when you're missing so many turrets, you don't have any fallback whatsoever. There is literally zero insurance policy for Red right now. They have to win a team fight, or they could very easily just lose their Nexus off of one team fight now.
And with Baron up in 30 seconds with the 6k gold lead, I mean, Liberty can just stack check Red at Baron, and if they win, as you point out, there is no defense. I mean, this could easily be a Baron that leads to mid inhibitor, top inhibitor. Now all of a sudden you have all 3 inhibitors down, depending on how this Baron goes. I think there's a world, if Liberty wants to, where they can get aggressive. They have a large margin for error here, but I think they'll continue to play it safe. Matsukaze and company hanging out in the mid lane. They do have Gigo down on the bot side. Meganar did get triggered. So if somebody's watching that, you could take a fight, and Guigo would teleport in with Mini Nar only. But it doesn't look like Liberty has any interest in that, but that'll be something to keep an eye on as Nar fades. There's now a 15-second window where Nar, he just wants to go to bed. He's too tired to get any rage.
The only thing that Liberty is interested in is taking these towers, is all 5 members once again heading up to this top lane tower. As you did mention, TP is being channeled.
Here it comes, but Mininar doesn't have any rage. JoJo's already dead. Bullet time! 2 already down. B1 Misfortune. Why don't you? A fantastic play. But top inhibitor turret goes down. The top inhibitor will fall. Now there are super minions charging into your base. Liberty, I don't know if they have the resources to end it. They will teleport to make the minion invulnerable. Guigo will go down. The ace probably means this is game. Who cares about what the casters think? B1 Misfortune every single game, Capcom. We are going to a game 5 off of the back of not Jinx, not Zeri, but